Hello, everyone. Welcome to Preparing for Christ. My name is Terry, and as I said before, I'm going to try to start doing some videos more often. It's not easy to do. However, if I could do 2 or 3 a month, I'm going to be happy with that for right now. With the holidays going on and Christmas and everything else, it's hard to make time. However, I don't want to waste any more time. Let me say this, make sure, I'm going to start trying to put some of these on Facebook as well, get a few more people on here, but please make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, share the videos, leave comments, I'll get back to you, and you can email me, it'll be on the screen. However, I just want to get right into this. So to start with, as I've said in the past, I'm just going to be as honest as I can be. As my last videos, I spoke about honesty. That's something that just, to me, is the core foundation of being a true biblical Christian. And it starts with being honest with yourself and being honest with God. As I said in my last video, I kind of tried to show that we don't truly know who we are in here. What's in here is completely different than what's up here. Rather you believe that I agree with that's okay, but that's just the facts. The Bible shows us Peter denied the Lord. I mean, he was a disciple. Go watch the last video. I tried to show you in the Bible just exactly what I'm talking about. So with that being said, I want to talk about what's taking place around the world right now and here in America, and what the future holds, or at least what my opinion of the future holds, because no man knoweth the day nor the hour when the Lord will return. We are living in the last days. There's no question about it. With just the evilness that is in this world right now, technology is helping to promote that. You could see it on all these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any social media. You could find evil across the board, and it won't be removed. It won't be censored or anything else. However, the Word of God and your rights will be. What's taking place in this world and what the future holds is exactly what the Lord told us is going to happen. The Lord has a plan. It's going to play out. No man is going to change that. It's not even possible. No matter how much money, power, influence, whatever you think people may have, they're no comparison to the Lord. I mean, they're not even in the same category. So what I want to talk about is deception, confusion, fear, and anger. Those, to me, are the 4 main factors that consume society today around the world. Here in America, in Israel, Syria, Africa, Turkey, Iran, Iraq, around the world. South America, North America. Anywhere you go, you'll see one of these 4 taking place on a daily basis. A lot of you may have heard, or you're going to hear about these things. On Christmas Day, the Lord's birthday even, there's evil around the world. It doesn't matter if it's Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, your birthday, my birthday, the Lord's birthday. It does not matter. People will not stop. They're not going to stop. And God's timeline and plan's not going to stop either, though. So you have to realize that God lives in a world where time doesn't exist for him like it does for us. He doesn't have a wristwatch or a clock on the wall. It just doesn't work that way. And I want to try to look at these 4, give you the definitions of them, and try to look at the Bible and see if we could try to get some clarity on this, understanding and guidance, sense of direction. The Bible can always help you no matter where you're at in life, what you're facing, or anything else. No matter your age or gender or whatever. Because there are men and women, boys and girls, period. There's nothing else. That's what God created, and that's what there is, period. It doesn't matter what clothes you wear or what else you might do to try to influence that. You'll never ever change what's in here, period. What God himself put in there the day he created you. I believe that, and as I've said before, I'm saying it like it is because I'm not going to veer from the truth. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to do anything. Homosexuality, transgender, any of that is a sin. Plain, period. It's not even up for discussion. The Bible tells us that, and that's just the way it is, period. Marriage is between a man and a woman, period. There's no changing. It's like I said, it's just not even up for discussion. Anyhow, I want to stick to this. So I'm going to read the definitions of these four here, and then I'm going to try to give you a little insight on in the news what's happening around the world, and then get into the Bible and see what it tells us. So the first one is deception or being deceived. So the definition of deceived is to lead into error, to mislead, to delude, to lie to. Deception is the act of deceiving, fraud, false representation, or dishonesty. Okay, that's deception or being deceived by the dictionary. That's the definition of it. Number two is confusion. Confusion, a state of disorder, chaos, bewilderment. Okay? And here's the thing you need to keep in mind. I'm reading you what these definitions are, and anyone who lives in the world today, I believe a lot of these will hit home. And what you see on mainstream media, the news, and everything else right now around the world, no matter if it's here in America or where it is, these fit into the news broadcast somewhere at some point, every single day. Number three is fear, expecting harm or dread or be afraid of. Okay, that's fear. And the last one we're going to read about is anger or angry. So anger is feelings of hostility and hurt, a desire to fight or argue. And angry is feeling extreme emotion due to hurt feelings or hostile. Okay? So that's deception, confusion, fear, and anger. That's the definitions of those. Alright? And in my opinion, they are used in today's society across the board. In government, in law enforcement, in our schools, in our jobs, everyday society, wherever you go, people are using these things, unfortunately, for their benefit, to gain something over on someone. So on Christmas Day, the Lord's birthday, on Christmas Day, if you haven't heard or seen, so I don't know all the facts. However, I want to try to show you here on this map. So if you look, this is Israel right here. I don't know how well you can see it on the screen, but let's see here. Maybe I can. Oh. try to blow it up here a little bit. Anyhow, so this is Israel. Here's Israel. Israel is a very small country. To put it in perspective, they compare the entire country of Israel to the size of the state of New Jersey, to give you kind of a physical description for you in your head. So this is Israel. So if you look, this is Israel. So just northwest of Israel is Syria. Up here is Turkey, Iraq, Iran. This is Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Egypt, Libya. Just give you a concept, a little bit of how things are. However, so Israel attacked Syria and the Iran forces in Syria on Christmas Day. They did a missile attack. This is the Middle East news. Israel strikes on Syria, kills 6 Iran-backed fighters. Okay, now I want to read some of this. I want you to pay attention to these articles. So, Israeli missile strikes on Syria killed at least 6 Iran-backed fighters Friday, a war monitor said. The dead were all foreign paramilitaries fighting alongside President Bashar al-Assad's forces, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said. Okay? Okay, so this is what they're telling everybody. However, just believe me when I tell you, this statement is what they were actually attacking. One also targeted a government-run research center where surface-to-surface missiles are developed and stored, the Britain-based watchdog said. So that, there was a, I've said it in the past, but I'm telling you now, if you guys, any of you that watch my channel or whatever, I'm telling you, you need to watch Stephen Benoon, Israel News Live. It's israelnewslive.org, I think, or you can look him up on YouTube. He used to work for the CIA. He knows people in the Pentagon and everything. I know some people who are in active military that just know a few things. And then I just do your own research. As I've told you guys, you need to do your own research, because I'm telling you all something right now. I'm telling you this because I care for my country. I care for fellow Americans and everything. There's a lot more to this than just President Trump and Joe Biden. So, but I'm telling you that we as Americans think that we are safe as could be here in America, and that we can't be touched and everything else, but that's not the facts. And it may not be an outside enemy or something that, China or Russia comes here and bombs us or anything else. That is a possibility. There are Chinese troops in Mexico and Canada now. Do your research. You'll find it if you actually put a little effort and time into it. However, I'm just telling y'all, you need to get prepared. Rather, you want to stand and fight for your home and protect your family, but regardless of that, you need to get some food and water and just have a plan, because the Lord's return could be any day, and I believe it's going to be here very, very soon. We got a couple years, maybe, in my opinion. However, no man knoweth the day nor the hour, but the people that are in charge, behind the scenes, what's going on and everything, it could happen overnight, and this country could turn upside down. I don't care if you believe that or not. I'm telling you what I know, what I've seen, what I hear, who I talk to. And as I said, watch Israel News Live. Watch True News with Rick Wiles and stuff. I don't agree with these men 100%. I don't agree with all that they say, what they believe, what they think, or anything else. But these people do know people, and they do have information privy that you and I don't get all the time. And you will never, ever, ever see on Fox, NBC, ABC, CNN, or anything else that you see on your TV. So if you truly are smart, in my opinion, and are not just going to believe what you hear and see on the TV every day, look these things up, look into it yourself, do your own research. We need to be prepared regardless. I mean, what would it hurt? You never know if there'd be an earthquake or a tornado or anything. You just never know. But anyhow, Israel struck Syria. What it was is what they were actually striking was, it's like a factory / compound type area where Iran has some military there, Syria and everybody, and they're building these missiles. They're surface-to-surface air missiles. And in my opinion, Iran probably are, if they don't already have, they will within 6 months of Joe Biden being in office, I can promise you that, a nuclear weapon. And the minute that they know they're going to go down or something, they will use them. Believe you me. And if you don't think what I'm telling you is truth, look it up yourself. Google it, go on YouTube. Iran has now developed missiles that they can bury underground. They cannot be detected. They can bury them anywhere underground, and they will bore their way out of the ground and launch. And they can carry, I'm almost 100% positive, nuclear warheads. But even if they cannot carry nuclear warheads, you can't stop a missile like that. And as I showed you on the map, Iran is right next door to Israel. So just try to do some of your own research. Anyhow, back to this. So they bombed this place where Iran and Syria and that are building these missiles. So then Syria turned around and bombed Israel. Israel bombed Syria. Syria bombed Israel. Launched missiles at Israel. On Christmas Day, Israel launches missiles, attack on Syria. Okay? Syria's air defense repelled the missile attack launched by Israel warplanes from Lebanese airspace against the western Syria city of Hamas countryside. Okay? However, that happened like Christmas Day morning. Then by evening, Syria launched missiles back at Israel. Now, what exactly happened, I'm not real sure yet. I haven't been able to find a whole lot on that. However, I did see a few different things that showed Israel's, they call it the Iron Dome. They have these portable launch pads all over the countryside in Israel, and they could shoot down incoming missiles. So I guess, I don't know if anyone got killed or harmed or not. My point in saying this is when Joe Biden gets in office, if Joe Biden gets in, you could bet within, if not 90 days, 6 months, we will go to war with Iran. I truly believe that. And Iran is no joke. Iran's not going to be in Afghanistan or in Iraq. We're not going to walk in there and kick their butt in a week or two. We are going to lose thousands and thousands of troops. Iran will fight to the last man. Iran is they have a lot of advanced technology that people don't know about that they have gotten from Russia and China. And both of those superpowers are backing Iran. So it could turn into a whole lot more than just a little, what everybody would think would be a little war with Iran. Even if China and Russia don't get involved, Iran's not a pushover. And Iran has the ability not only to hit Israel, they have people most likely here that are going to do damage. So I know people hear this stuff on TV and they kind of blow it off, shake it off, think nothing of it, but I'm telling you, it's no joke. Then also, if y'all didn't know or see, the bombing in Nashville. And now information's coming out that they believe it may have been an international deal or something. Nashville bombing aftermath captured in dramatic photos and videos. Where was I reading it? I was reading that they believe now that it's got international ties. I don't know any details about it. I didn't have a long time to get ready for this video. But the reason I'm talking about Syria and Israel and Iran and everything is the simple fact that, as you people may have known, this bombing that took place in Nashville, this was a camper, a drivable, just a camper, and detonated this bomb that done damage and closed down a 10-block radius in Nashville. I don't know if any of you have ever been to Nashville. I have many a time. Nashville's a big city, and where this happened, you can't really see it in the background. This building back here is what they call the Batman building. The top of it looks like Batman's hat. But that is downtown Nashville. And if somebody is willing and able to do that on Christmas Day in Nashville, just think of what they could do to a city of New York, Chicago, LA or something. And if they were truly backed by Iran, Russia, China, something of that sort. Nuclear weapons, they have what they call tactical nukes now that literally will fit in the back of a pickup truck that will level, level. It would level half of Nashville. So the deception, the confusion, the fear, the anger, and things that are taking place in this world, we can't even begin to comprehend right now. And the fact that this stuff takes place on Christmas Day, on the Lord's birthday, with this pandemic, everything that's going on in this world right now, if people cannot see and realize how close the Lord's return is, you just don't want to see it then, or you don't want to believe it. The days of Noah, when the Lord washed this earth clean, were hand in hand as to what we're seeing today. People's hearts were just pure evil. That's all they thought about, that's all they did, that's all they felt was evil all the time. And that's the way it is in the society now. It's just pure evil all the time. Even on Christmas Day, we have countries firing missiles at one another, and we have people detonating bombs in the heart of our country. Tennessee, I lived in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and Nashville is just about 40-45 minutes straight north. Tennessee, I believe it's in Murfreesboro. It's the geographical heart, dead center of the United States. Okay? This was detonated on Christmas Day in the heart of our country. The evil, the deception, the confusion, the anger, the fear that is consuming this world is not going unnoticed by God. Believe me, it's not. And it's not going unnoticed by the devil, who is enjoying every single second of it. Believe me, the devil is loving this. And people have got to get a grip and come to the reality that you are going to spend your eternity in heaven or hell. There's no in between. You don't just die and the lights go out and it's over. You don't just die and lay in a box somewhere in the ground or whatever. In here lives your heart, your soul, your spirit. You are going to spend eternity in one of two places. And today people need the Lord and they need the truth more than ever. People have got to come to this reality and get on board, because the days are, our time, the window is closing faster and faster and faster every single day. Right now, our country is so divided between Democrat and Republican, right and left. You know, these are supposed to be just political parties that people, you know, well, my views and opinions and beliefs line up closer to the Republicans than they do the Democrats, and vice versa. Then you had the independents come out, and I believe that's where I'm at now, because the Democrats are so far out in left field, you can't even look at them, talk to them, or get their attention. And the Republicans are not much better anymore. I mean, if you can't acknowledge that this election, regardless of who wins or loses, forget Donald Trump and Joe Biden. It's the process that matters. And if you can't see, understand, and are willing to be a man or woman and acknowledge the fraud, the theft, the deception, the confusion, the manipulation, the cheating that took place, then in my opinion, you're not a true American. You don't deserve to be here and live here, because you're not willing to stand up for what is right and what is wrong. You're not willing to stand up and speak out against the foundations of our country and what they stand for. Our country is founded on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but when the founding fathers wrote the Constitution, the Bill of Rights and everything, they said that they believed that if this country stuck to those documents, followed those guidelines, that it would be a true blessing if this country lasted 150 years. Well, obviously we made it. America is 244 years old now. However, in my opinion, after what just took place with this election with Joe Biden and Donald Trump, as I said, forget Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Forget Democrat, Republican, or anything else. It's the system, it's the mechanism that makes up this country. It doesn't matter if they're black or white, purple, green, man, woman, Republican, Democrat. That doesn't matter. What matters is the process. What matters is that you and I get to go and pick who we want and cast our vote for that person, and that counts. But if you're not American enough, if you're not man or woman enough to stand up and admit it either way, but just admit it, that what took place on November 3rd was a joke. And as I've said before, this world's full of evilness and theft and confusion and deception and everything else. However, and technology is a big part of that. However, I will say this too, though. Technology can be a great thing, because look at all of the evidence. They say, show us the evidence. There's piles of it. They don't want to see it, because they don't want this country to keep going the way it is. They want socialism. They want communism. They want power is what they want. The socialist title, the communist title, whatever you want to call it, democracy, you know, whatever you want to call it, what you want. I'm going to call it what it is. They want power. They want the power, period. They want the money, and they want the control, and they want the power over us, the people. But here's the thing. We, the people, hold all of it. We hold the wealth, we hold the power, and we hold the control. And unfortunately, today's society, 100 years ago, not even. I'll even say 50 years ago. This wouldn't have happened, buddy. You got a few little get-togethers here or there. This wouldn't have happened. You'd have had every single Tom, Dick, and Harry marching on every single capital across this country and absolutely demanding that if the Supreme Court of their state didn't step up and do something, that the United States Supreme Court step up and do something. And if they wouldn't, then we the people will. But who knows, it's likely to be too late now, unless Donald Trump declares martial law or insurrection or something. And what's that going to bring? That's going to bring hell upon this country. That's going to bring a civil war. It's going to bring a society, the collapse of our society. Why? Because we're so divided. And why are we so divided? Because of these 4 topics right here. That's why. Exactly what I just told you in the beginning of this. Because of deception, confusion, fear, and anger. And they go just in that order. They deceive people by telling them one thing, this, that. You got Fox News saying one thing, you got CNN saying another. They're deceiving the people. And a large majority of Americans watch those. They either watch Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, one of those mainstream medias. Okay? And they're being misled. And what does that do? That causes confusion. Then they're thinking, well, they're saying this, they're saying that, and I'm seeing this on social media. What's the real truth? Well, you're deceived, and now you're confused, you don't know what to think, what's going on. So then you're getting worried, you're thinking, well, what in the world's going to take place here? How is this going to work? Now you're getting worried. And what does that lead to? Then you get fed up, you've had enough. You get mad, you get angry. Then it's time to take a stand to do something. And unfortunately, we're right in between these two right here, right now. We're in between fear and anger. The deception, the confusion is out the window. People have made up their minds and have decided what they're going to decide and believe what they're going to believe. Now they're putting their foot down. They've had enough. And they're starting to get angry. And I see it everywhere I go, everything I read, everything I see. People are getting fed up. And that only leads to one result and one result only. That's the destruction of our country. That's the death of God knows how many people. That's the destruction of businesses and companies and everything else that we've worked to build in this country in the past 240 years. And I don't know about you, but that bothers me. I got kids that I think about them every single day. I was talking to my father-in-law. Do you guys realize I'm 44 years old? And 25 years ago, whatever, 30 years ago, however long you want to say it, it doesn't matter. But because 40 years is not very long, okay? But when I was growing up, there was no such thing as this right here. It didn't even exist. There was no internet. There was not even a laptop. There wasn't a cell phone. There was none of a camera, lighting. There was none of this. It didn't exist. There was no internet. There was no cell phone. There was no laptops. There were no tablets. There were none of this. I can remember when we got cable TV put in our house. Remember back before that, I remember when we got our first cordless phone. Not a phone on the wall where you could actually walk around. Then we got cable TV. It was a box that went on top of the TV and you had to go up there and push a button. I mean, that was amazing. And now, this is a computer. You can call it a phone, this is a computer in your hand. They call the internet the World Wide Web, right? So if you go look something up, it's www. whatever. That stands for World Wide Web. Do you guys know what a web is? God created everything. And He created spiders. And how do spiders live and survive? They build a web. And what's that web do? It catches things and tangles them up. The World Wide Web is no different. It's just a tangled mess of death. That's all it is. Yeah, we can use it for things like this. I use it. I'm using it. Look stuff up. I use it to put my videos out to try to get the truth out there and the Word of God out there to people. But it's also used for everything else. I don't know. I pray that God will move in some way or do something. I know I don't have thousands and thousands of people watching this and everything, but that doesn't matter to me, because I know in my heart all I need to do is plant one seed in one person, and God will take care of the rest. I want to talk about, so we got deception, confusion, fear, and anger. I want to go through here and read some verses out of the Bible for you guys, and I want to show you that even though no matter how far we go, God has He doesn't live in the same world we do. He doesn't live by a timeline like we do, but He understands that timeline. And I'm going to show you that it doesn't matter what you've been through or anything else, or how long it's been. Maybe you went to church as a kid and you haven't now, and you're an adult, and the Lord's been putting it on your heart about maybe getting back into church or whatever. And I'm going to show you where the Lord has done things in the Bible different time with different men, but in the same scenario, to use those men for His will. Okay? And He can do the same with you and I. No matter what you've been through. I've said on here a million times, I'm a drug addict, an alcoholic, I've been to prison, but I'm not that anymore. That's who I used to be. I'm not that anymore. I don't drink, I don't use drugs, I work, I have a nice home, everything I have though, I've worked for. People have helped me along the way, and I've treated them like dirt, and I've had people help me along the way, and I'm so grateful for that now, and I try to repay that. My parents never got to see this side of me. Both of my parents died when I was young, and they never got to see nothing but a drug addict drunk. That's all they ever saw. But that doesn't matter, because what matters is what I see and what God sees. And that's no different for you. And if you're in a struggle, in a spot where you need to get somewhere to make a change, whatever, I'm more than willing to help, or I can maybe lead you to somebody to help, or there's somebody out there, okay? But don't give up, don't give in, just keep pushing on and get through all of this, and you'll make it. So I'm going to read here in Matthew chapter 16, verses 24 to 27, okay? It says, "Then Jesus said to His disciples, 'If anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever desires to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul? Or what will a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man will come in the glory of His Father with His angels, and then He will reward each according to his works. Assuredly I say to you, there are some standing here who shall not taste death till they see the Son of Man coming in His kingdom.'" God's coming back very, very soon. And I've said it on here and I'll say it again. Anyone who's watching this, hears it, or anything else, you're going to face one of two things in your life. And it's an absolute guarantee. You are going to face the return of Jesus Christ to this earth when He calls us all home. And we're going to stand before the Lord in judgment. Or you're going to die on this earth someday. And you're going to stand, whether you're going to heaven or hell, you're going to stand for judgment, period. I can guarantee you that to you more than your next breath. One of those two things I can guarantee are going to happen. And the Lord is trying to tell, just like, what's a gain? What do you gain? If a man gains everything, the whole world, if you were king and had all the money in the whole world, it could not compare to your soul spending eternity in heaven or hell. This doesn't even compare. So don't be deceived by these lies and confusion, deception of everything. It's not worth it. Okay? Now we're going to go to James chapter 1. And I want to read verses 22 and 23. But be doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. For if anyone is a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like a man observing his natural face in a mirror. So if you hear the word of God, and you don't do anything with it, it's no different looking at yourself in the mirror. It does. You're just seeing the same thing over and over again. You're just hearing the same. You got to actually act. You have to actually hear the word of God. You have to take it in. You have to meditate on it. You have to read it. You have to learn it. You have to study it. And then you have to actually apply it to your life. If you're a married man, if you have even a wife, no kids, just a wife, you're responsible for your wife. You're responsible for your home. You're going to stand before the Lord and answer for all that. And if you have children, you're going to stand and answer for that. The man is the head of his home. Every single man. And you're held responsible before the Lord for your wife and your children. So you need to read the word and apply it to your life. And I promise you, if you do that, it'll be a true, true blessing to you. And your family. Now, I want to go to James chapter 5. And this is verses 1 to 3. It says, "Come now, you rich, weep and hollow for your miseries that are coming upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver are corroded, and their corrosion will be a witness against you, and will eat your flesh like fire. You have heaped up treasures in the last days." The people that are rich, the Bible tells us it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. Think of that. A camel with two humps that you ride, a camel, and a sewing needle. It's easier to put that camel through that needle than it is for a man with millions, billions of dollars to get into heaven. I mean, the Lord wrote the Bible. I used to read the Bible and struggle all the time with it, and I couldn't understand things. I'd read them over and over, and it just really wouldn't sink in. But the Bible is very simple. You take it word for word, read it, and understand it for exactly what it tells you. Because every answer to everything in life is right here in the Bible. All this evil stuff that we see every day, and the fear and the anger and everything, it's all right here. It can be solved right here. Okay, so this is James chapter 5. I want to read verses 5 to 7 for you. "You have lived on the earth in pleasure and luxury. You have fattened your hearts as in a day of slaughter. You have condemned, you have murdered the just. He does not resist you. Therefore be patient, brethren, until the coming of the Lord. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, waiting patiently for it until it receives the early and latter rain." The Lord's return is coming. I can guarantee you that. We need to be patient. But the people that are living for this world and all the luxuries of this world and everything else, they're not patient, and they're all about living in the now. It's all about me and what I can have right now. But nothing you have is going anywhere with you. Not this shirt, not this camera, not this computer, the TV, none of this stuff. It doesn't matter if I die now, all this stuff, my wife has it, and then goes to my kids, and someday it's going to go in the garbage and it doesn't, or if the Lord, none of it matters. Not this house, not anything, nothing. And people just, they live for this world, man, and it just boggles my mind sometimes. Okay, real quick, now, the point I was trying to make is how the Lord can use anybody. He does it, and He'll use people and do some of the same things for these men. And I don't know how, and it really warms my heart. It's amazing to me that if you actually pay attention and read your Bible to see how the Lord works and the way He uses people and stuff, and that He's doing the same thing today, but people just refuse to see it or understand it, or, well, they don't want to. That's the thing. They just don't. They don't want the truth. They don't want to see these things and understand them. And the point I'm trying to make is with Moses and Joshua. Everybody knows about the Lord brought Moses and Israel out of Egypt. He departed the Red Sea and they crossed and everything, right? He departed the waters and they crossed the sea. And Pharaoh and all of his men the water came back and they were drowned, and Moses and Israel went on, right? And also in Exodus chapter 3, verse 5, when the Lord talked about Moses standing on holy ground. So in Exodus chapter 3, verse 5, it says, "Then he said, 'Do not draw near this place. Take your sandals off your feet, for the place where you stand is holy ground.'" Okay? So the Lord, when they came out of Egypt, Israel, the Lord parted the Red Sea for them to get away from Pharaoh. And then when He got Moses where he was going, He told him where he stands is holy ground, take off his sandals. Well, He done the same thing for Joshua, and nobody talks about this, but it's mind-boggling to me to see how the Lord works. So Moses had died, Joshua becomes the leader, and the Lord done the same thing almost to the T for Joshua. So with that being said, I'm going to read it's Joshua chapter 5, and I'm going to read a few different verses though, just to make my point. So this is Joshua chapter 5, verse 1. "So it was when all the kings of the Amorites were on the west side of the Jordan, and all the kings of the Canaanites who were by the sea heard that the Lord had dried up the waters of the Jordan from before the children of Israel until we had crossed over, that their heart melted, and there was no spirit in them any longer because of the children of Israel." The Lord literally stopped the water of the Jordan River from flowing so that Joshua and the Israelites could cross over it. It's no different than when He departed the Red Sea for Moses coming out of Egypt. Joshua 5, chapter 6, or chapter 5, verse 6, I'm sorry. "For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness to all the people who were men of war who came out of Egypt were consumed, because they did not obey the voice of the Lord, to whom the Lord swore that He would not show them the land which the Lord had sworn to their fathers, that He would give us, a land flowing with milk and honey." So He showed them that He could dry up, He parted the sea, got them out of Egypt, all this stuff, yet they still would not believe in Him and follow Him. So He told them, "You will not see the land of milk and honey." He will give it on to the next generation. And that's why He gave it to Joshua, or let Moses die and Joshua came in. But it just goes to show you how the Lord works. So the last one I'm going to read is Joshua, it's chapter 5, verse 15. Then the commander of the Lord's army said to Joshua, "Take your sandal off your foot, for the place where you stand is holy." And Joshua did so. You know, God, we can't even begin to comprehend truly what God is, the strength of the Lord, and His love and grace and mercy for us. Yet every day we deal with this deception, confusion, fear, anger across the board. But if people would just take the time to stop and realize what a blessing it is to get to live in this country, to have the opportunities and things that we do. But the simple fact that we can go to church and read our Bible and serve the one and only true God is a gift, a freedom, an honor that no man will ever be able to give another man. That can only come from God. So no matter what's taking place in your life, how you might feel, what you think you're facing, or all of this junk that we see on TV, see happening around the world all the time and everything, just know that God is with us. God is for us and God is with us. And the sooner we all will quit this division amongst ourselves and everything, the sooner we can all live in some type of understanding and peace in that. But I don't know that that's going to take place because we are so divided and our only hope is the Lord. But no matter what, God has a plan and that plan's going to play out. And we all have the choice to make, heaven or hell. So I'm just trying to do as many videos as I can from here on out and be as truthful as I can and try to show you as much as I can by my understanding and knowledge. But I really wish you all would consider coming to church. Grace Tabernacle Church is north of Knox on Highway 23, or north on Highway 23 in Knox. Church is at 10 o'clock every Sunday. Everybody's more than welcome. But if not, go to church somewhere. But if you have any questions, concern, need help, or whatever, anything, even if it doesn't have to do with God, reach out to me and I'll do what I can or try to lead you to someone that can or help you in some way. You can leave it, comment, subscribe, but you can email me or whatever, get a hold of me if you need to. But just tell your friends and family and share this video. And just remember, God loves you, God's for you, and He's with you. Give Him the chance and He will change your life. I thank you guys for watching. God bless. See you next time.